Support for today's Heat Treat Radio episode is provided by Thermprocess 2023, the world's leading trade fair for industrial thermal processing technology. Learn more about the show at www.thermprocess-online.com. And welcome to Heat Treat Radio. Whether you're listening to us or tuning in via video on heattreattoday.com/radio, we're glad to have you. As 2022 comes to an end, we're taking this episode to look forward to what North American heat treaters can expect at the largest trade show for heat treaters anywhere, Thermprocess 2023. Doug Glenn, publisher of Heat Treat Today, and Timo Würz, managing director at VDMA Metallurgy and general secretary at CECOF, will join us. Our guest comes with an academic and research background at Darmstadt University of Technology. He became the Director of Research and Technology at VDW, that is, the German Machine Tool Builders Association, eventually serving as Vice Managing Director. Currently, Timo is the Managing Director of Metallurgy at VDMA and General Secretary at CECOF. Timo hits on what attendees and exhibitors should expect and several of the topics that will be guiding this event in Germany, all of which are interesting, globally focused questions that will give North American heat treaters an international perspective. Let's take a listen.
I know you are involved in your capacity with VDMA and CECOF and things of that sort with the Thermprocess event, which is coming up in June. For people who might not know what Thermprocess is, can you give us just like a 30,000 foot view of what that event is?
Yes, I can. Thermprocess, I would say, is the world-leading trade show for the thermal processing industries. And it's not just one show. Thermprocess is part of a trade show quartet. It's 4 shows, and they are all about metallurgical equipment, metallurgical processes, thermal processing, foundry equipment, foundry applications. So all these topics are very much connected one to the other, and that makes it a real big show. It's not just this little part of industrial furnaces and burners, but it's embedded in a huge metallurgical environment. That's the reason why they call this exhibition the Bright World of Metals. Nevertheless, you find there any kind of thermal application. So if you want to process glass or ceramics, you find the respective equipment there for sure. But this is the larger context of the show, and it's really huge. It's the 2019 edition that was more than 73,000 visitors in Düsseldorf, more than 2,300 something exhibitors on all the 4 trade shows. And for the Thermprocess alone, I think it was about 300 and, how much was it? 340, 350 exhibitors and about 6,000 visitors only for the Thermprocess show, not taking into account all the others coming from a GIFA show or the Maytech show, which are the other shows. So there's a lot of synergies between these shows, and you see really everything that has something to do with thermal processing, with equipment, with applications. It's really a big thing.
Yeah, and this you and I both have probably been to the Thermprocess since, early on, maybe it's beginning. I'm not sure when the first show was, but I know the first one I attended was in 1999. And it was quite an event even then. But I want to give our listeners and viewers a sense of the enormity of it. Okay, so you've been to some of the North American shows. I don't know if you've been to like one of the larger shows in Chicago, like the IMTS. It's probably one of the larger metal shows in the United States. And my contention is, and I wonder if you'd agree with this, McCormick Place, which is where this show, the IMTS, is held, the campus on which the quartet of shows, as you say, is being held is probably 4 to 5 times the size of an IMTS show. I don't know if if you've got that comparison or not, but it's much larger than any other North American show I know of.
So I know IMTS quite well because I've been there many years ago when I was working for the machine tool industry, and that is really a big show in the United States. And I think the FabTech is about the same size or even a little bit bigger than IMTS. And I would say maybe Thermprocess and the other three trade shows are even a little bigger because I don't know if your readers know the exhibition grounds in Düsseldorf, but they are quite huge. I think it's the second or third largest exhibition area in Germany. And the four trade shows, they really occupy all halls at the exhibition center. So that's 107 or 73,000 square meters. That is about maybe 150,000 cross square meters. So the 33,000 is only the net square meters. So if you take all the other areas together, it's really a huge exhibition area. And so the comparison is not too bad. It compares to the big shows in the United States and for other industries.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, I tell people when I try to give them a sense of the size of the campus that the Düsseldorf Messe is on, I say, well, if you were to start at one end and just walk at a normal rate, it would probably take you 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes to walk from one side of the, or one side to the other, which fortunately we don't have to do too much. But yeah, so that's good. The dates of the show?
12 to 16. June
right.
12 to 16 next year in Düsseldorf. Yeah.
Right. Which is a great time of year in Düsseldorf. It's a lovely, lovely place. So I would encourage people to go. Well, let's do this then. Thank you for that. I wanted people to at least get a good sense of what's going on there in Düsseldorf. Let's talk about some of the trends, the international trends in thermal processing, if you don't mind. Mm-hmm. From your perspective, just what are some of those international trends, international things that are happening now that people will be able to learn about and hear about if they do come to Thermprocess?
There's a lot of things going on at the moment. So there's the whole sustainability, greenhouse gas reduction discussion going on. So that is certainly going to be reflected at the show. There is digitization, which is a very important issue for all industries, but also for the metallurgical industries and the thermal processing industries, because it gives you some new benefits you can offer to your customers, and or you can benefit from in your product development. So that's a huge topic. There's additive manufacturing, so that gives you completely new opportunities how to produce certain parts for your equipment, or how to replace maybe traditional technology. So think about replacing a casting by a part that is produced with additive manufacturing. Finally, the part is the same, but the production process is completely different. So there's a very interesting competition now between different production technologies coming up. So that will be shown there. And there's, I think, many other issues. So we could go to very specific details, like new types of communication between machines and management systems, or between different kind of machines, and really a lot of very interesting developments, artificial intelligence, machine learning, that all helps to optimize your process and your equipment. So that's really an amazing development going on.
So I got a question for you. Because I know you're kind of on the inside track here with the whole Bright World of Metals and the organization, the Mesa Düsseldorf, the organization that puts this on. Do you think someday in the future they will add a fifth show on 3D printing? Because it's a lot of, there's a lot of metals going on here, right? I mean, it's
that is a very good question. I don't know, because there are still other exhibitions for
yes.
3D printing and additive manufacturing. So maybe not necessarily a new show, but it is certainly becoming a permanent part of the existing shows. So one or the other place they will really highlight that additive manufacturing, maybe without having a fifth show to
I think it would be interesting. We'd have to figure out, instead of being a quartet, it'd have to be a quintet or something like that. A quintet of shows. So let's talk a little bit about the electrification, if you don't mind. Just dig a little bit deeper into the electrification. What are you seeing there? I mean, as you know, I know right now you're sitting in Florida, right? With Tropical Storm Nicole in your background. Is that the name? I forget if that's the name. There's so many, I lose track of the names of the storm.
Nicole.
Okay, so you're sitting there in Florida, but I know you're, typically out of Germany. What are you seeing there, Timo, in Germany regarding electrification and the move away from greenhouse gas, let's say?
That is a good question, but a difficult to answer question. So electrification is not really new. There are well-established processes which are already electrified. So think about induction heating or melting or electric arc furnace. That is all electrified heating equipment. So that is not really new. The important question is, how many other processes could be replaced by electrified processes? And I mean such processes where you burn fossil fuels, so for example, natural gas. Because that is really the point when it comes to greenhouse gas mitigation. You want to get rid of greenhouse gases, and usually they are emitted when you burn something. That is, and from a physical point of or physics point of view, not a physics point of view or an engineering point of view, electrification is great because it has a very high efficiency. So turning electricity into heat has a very high efficiency, much better than burning something and generate heat from burning fossil fuels. The problem is, think of a let's say a reheating furnace in a steel works. Such in terms of energy consumption, that has to be called a monster, because a reheating furnace in a steel works consumes per hour as much energy as a jumbo jet flying from Europe to the US each hour. So, and now try to imagine how to electrify such an application. So at the moment, I can hardly, it's hardly conceivable that you can really replace that existing equipment by something that is electrified. You have the same, let's say, energy density that is needed to get the process done. So that is very difficult. And here you really come to, let's say, technological limits. I don't say you can't overcome them in the future, but at the moment, it is just maybe not possible. But you have to see which processes are possible, and those which are possible should be electrified. And for others, you have to accept, okay, you need maybe a hybrid concept, so electrical heating and a conventional burner, or you have to accept that you have to burn something, and in future that maybe will be green hydrogen. So there's different routes. And finally, green hydrogen is another form of electrification because you need electricity to produce green hydrogen. So when you bring that all down to one point, it's only a question of, are you able to generate the sufficient amount of renewable energy? It's not a question about the Thermprocess aspect. It's more or less a question about the generation of enough renewable energy. So that is about wind energy, that's about solar power and all these things. If there's enough renewable energy, I would say everything can be electrified, or everything could be supplied with green hydrogen. That is not the main problem. The main problem is the availability of enough renewable energy.
Enough renewable, yeah, agreed. I think our listeners would be interested in your perspective just on this one little issue. I don't know if we want to call it a political issue, but I know one of the drivers, excuse me, one of the drivers in Germany for electrification is the fact that, you're getting your gas supply cut off by friends to the east, So I'm curious, just maybe on a more personal level, and not so much, although you're more than welcome to address this from an industrial level as well. How is it there in Germany with the lines being cut, so to speak, the pipes being cut?
It's really challenging. To be honest, we were used to have a cheap energy supply from Russia. So cheap gas from Russia, that was the fuel for a lot of parts of our life, for industry, for private heating and everything. So that's gone now. And now we have a completely different situation. At the moment, fortunately, all our gas storages are full. So we were able to fill them very quickly at very high cost. So because we had to buy all the gas wherever we got it, and had to pay really insane prices. So that's I think so. Maybe this is not really a that will not really push electrification, because at the moment a good part of our electrification strategy was based on burning natural gas as a kind of transition technology. So now that's gone. Now we have to reactivate all the power plants, which were already phased out. Now we reactivate the coal-fired power plants in order to have enough electricity. So we have a big discussion about nuclear power because we phased out already most of our nuclear power plants. There are only 3 running, and now the question is how long they can run to maybe support energy production. On the other hand, we see in France that more than 50% of their nuclear power plants at the moment are not working, either because they have technical problems or because the French rivers don't have enough water due to the high temperatures in summer, and you need the cooling water for the nuclear power plant. So at the moment, we have to export electricity to France. Usually it's the other way around.
That is very interesting. I didn't realize that. I knew there was quite the drought, but I didn't realize that had an impact on their nuclear power production. Very interesting.
At least in France, it is it is very bad. So the whole situation is somewhat strange at the moment. My personal opinion is that it will help us to transform our energy system much faster than we already tried to do. So that is really something pushing us in a completely new direction. So I think the renewable power generation, that will really get a boost. Because we don't have that many alternatives, so we can rely on, I don't know how many ships from the US bringing LNG or from Qatar or some of these places. At the moment, it's a challenging situation, but I think it will help to transform the whole system.
Yes.
Much faster.
We'll return in just a moment, but first, a word from our sponsors. Brace yourselves for a Thermprocess 2023, a show that has a history of being 4.5 times bigger in non-exhibiting attendee numbers than any North American heat treat trade show. Thermprocess in Düsseldorf, Germany, is the world's most important platform for the presentation of highly innovative technology and environmental concepts for industrial thermal processing plants. From June 12th to 16th in 2023, attendees of Thermprocess will experience the innovations to come and those that will drive future moves. Thermprocess is part of the trade show quartet that happens every 4 years in Düsseldorf, Germany. The other events in the quartet are GIFA, METEC, and Newcast. Climate neutrality by 2050 means that the industry faces an extreme transformation that will be discussed at the Düsseldorf Trade Fair Quartet, including the challenges that the sectors must overcome and the innovations that machinery and plant manufacturers will offer to enable climate solutions. Learn more about attending Thermprocess at www.thermprocess-online.com. Again, that's www.thermprocess-online.com. Lastly, North American heat treat suppliers. If you have any interest in exhibiting at this event, reach out to Heat Treat Today soon, preferably now, to reserve your specially priced booth in an exclusive North American exhibitor group. If there is enough participation, Heat Treat Today will provide a centrally located resource center where participating companies can come for food and drink, meeting rooms, some North American fellowship, and language interpreters. Essentially, all the perks of a big company without the expense. Costs for your booth will range from $9,000 to $12,000. Contact Doug Glenn at doug@heattreattoday.com or via phone at 724-923-8089 for more exhibitor info. Now, back to the episode.
Yeah. As they say, we have a saying, you may have something similar in Germany, but they say that necessity is the mother of invention, meaning if you got to do something, you figure out how to do it, right? You invent something to be able to do it. So such is the case with the power situation there in Western Europe for sure. Well, we wish you luck on that. Let's talk a bit about digitization or Internet of Things and things of that sort. Tell me what people are bound to see and possibly will see if they go to Thermprocess in regards to digitization and IIoT.
I think digitization is not a trend anymore. It's a reality, and it's a necessity for all companies. So you can't do any business without thinking about how to digitize certain aspects of your business. And it helps really on different levels. So first of all, it is of course a great help to optimize processes. So think of using, for example, machine learning or artificial intelligence, whatever you might want to call it. You can generate optimized furnace recipes for heat treating processes, for example, which were then based on the knowledge of people in the past, and they were quite good. But now you reach just new levels of optimization, just using these digital solutions, or the transformation of data communication. So you get a complete new level of transparency of what is going on in your system, because every part becomes has an IP address and can tell you what is its state, what is it doing, is maybe a problem. So you have a complete new transparency of your processes, of your equipment. You can transfer that easily to management systems. You can base decisions on such kind of data, which then becomes kind of information. And that is something that really improves the overall equipment efficiency very much. So that is maybe really a big benefit for the customers. And digitization is also the way towards new business models. So having all your equipment, all your processes as a part of a, let's say, of a digital or data ecosystem, it allows you to offer complete new products. For example, apps that helps your customer to do the scheduling of the production, or to allows you for having paper production concepts, or maybe helps you to do predictive maintenance and all that thing. And I think you will see all of this at the Thermprocess and the other 3 trade shows next year, because I would say most of the companies, be it small or be it big, they have such digital solutions now, and they will show it all different aspects and types of application.
Yeah. Along that line, shift gears just a little bit on this. You know, one of the issues that we're experiencing here in the United States is labor shortages and things of that sort. I don't know if that's exactly the same in Germany, but let's assume that it is. How about automation and the use of robotics in anything? Are you seeing anything along that line there? And do you anticipate that people would see some solutions, some ideas along that line if they were to come to Thermprocess?
Yeah, so we do have the very same problem. So finding young people, finding skilled people who are able to do their jobs in a highly sophisticated industrial environment is right. Terribly difficult. So so we have many jobs where we can't find people for. Not the low wages jobs, highly qualified jobs that require a lot of training. It's exactly the same problem you have in the United States. And of course, automation is maybe one aspect of overcoming that problem. And of course, a lot of companies do invest in automation. They do invest in robotics, maybe not in the thermal processing industry. So robotics there is maybe different from what we maybe think of when we hear robotics. So in an automotive assembly, when you see maybe 2,000 robots working in a coordinated way, assembling a car structure, but any kind of automation that helps to overcome labor shortages, being manipulating heavy pieces.
I think of fixturing and racking, right? I mean, that's a heavy labor intensive process, even if it's small parts, right? Taking 100 parts and putting them in a rack so that they can be heat treated. I mean, I think automation, huh? Yeah.
So if you don't find the people to do that, you certainly will have automation. That's sure. And I think you find all the big robotic companies and the automation suppliers on the 4 trade shows. So especially in the foundries, in the foundry environment, there's a lot of robotics. So all robotics manufacturers like KUKA, like ABB, like Fanuc, and so on. They are all there, of course. Yeah. And they will show their special applications for the metallurgical sector. So there is certainly a lot to see at the Thermprocess and the other three shows.
Yeah. So you and I both know that at Thermprocess and GIFA and NewTek and Newcast and METEC, that it's not all business, right? I mean, there's a little bit of enjoyment, beyond business that goes on there. Maybe not only it does that, it's also a little bit of fun on the show floor. But I would like just your personal opinion, what you enjoy about Dusseldorf, as what is there there for those people who want to come over and do more than just work? What's there to see?
So first of all, it's taking place in summer, and usually, so at least the last 2 or 3 editions, we had really nice weather. That helps a lot to get people in good mood. Düsseldorf is a particularly nice city. It has an old part, the Düsseldorf Altstadt, so the old town, where you find these typical restaurants and these typical Düsseldorf pubs where you get this special beer. And that is really a place where people just meet and have fun. So after the show, you can go there and just have fun. You can talk business, of course, if you like, but you can just have fun, drink a beer, sit at the banks of the Rhine River. The people are nice people. So the people from the Rhineland, they are known as nice people. They have a good sense of humor. So it is really a good place to come, do business, but also do anything else but business. So it is a good place to be in June. So there's plenty to do there, and it's a good place to have a lot of fun after.
Yes, and it's easy to get around. I must say it's easy to get around. They've got at the Mesa, where the fairgrounds, where the shows, the trains pull right in. They're more like trolley trains. They're not necessarily subways, but it's kind of what we think of in the United States as subway cars. They pull right into the Mesa there. It's easy to get on. It's easy to get off. It's 10 minutes, 15 minutes to downtown. There's some great shopping for any of you ladies who might, or men, if you're a shopper, you can easily take a walk down Konings Alley, which is a beautiful shopping place there. And the Altstadt, as you mentioned, all pretty much, which is, I think, nice, depending on where you stay in Dusseldorf. If you're in the downtown area, it's all relatively, if you're in decent shape, it's walking distance. I mean, you can walk it. I walked from the Bahnhof all the way over to Altstadt. You can do it. It's not undoable. So
that is all within walking distance. Yeah. And if not, you can take the tram or the subway or whatever. It takes you 15-20 minutes and you're right in the center. And even if you want to go a little further, so all the other large cities around are very well connected by this public transportation system. So never use the car in this area. That is bad. So the whole system, in terms of traffic, if you are in a car, is a mess. Use the public transportation, and it's wonderful because it connects all cities. You can easily go to Cologne. You can go to you can go to Leverkusen and all the other cities around. It's very easy.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. All right. Well, in the past, they've had a bit of a technical program associated. Are they having that this time?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So if you don't mind, tell us a bit about, what you know about that technical program.
Yeah. So at the Thermprocess, there's going to be the Thermprocess Forum, what was the Thermprocess Symposium in the past. So, but that's just, it's a kind of a 2-day presentation program right in, I think it's exhibition hall number 9, so where the Thermprocess really is, where we have a 2 days program with presentations from exhibiting companies, showing their innovations and showing new solutions, new applications. We are going to have at the first day a special program that will try to dive a little bit deeper into the energy transition. So how the energy system will transform in the future. That is more from a scientific point of view or a political point of view, but nevertheless very interesting. Then we have the company presentations, and we are going to have the tech talks. On Thursday, we are going to have the tech talks. That is a concept where three. Originally it is an online format, but there we transferred to the exhibition. So 3 companies giving presentations in a frame of a specific topic. So and they are all built on the other thematically on the other presentation. So you see a whole get a whole picture of one specific topic. That is going to happen, and there will be, of course, the foundry-related events. There is going to be the ESTA, that's the European Steel Technology Application Day. That is a very big event with I think 700 sessions, and so it's over the whole exhibition. So that is for the metallurgical people, so for the steel producers and others.
Good, good. Yeah, that's great. I thought that was going on, but I just wasn't sure, and I just wanted to confirm. So, all right, well, that's very good. Timo, I thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time to help us understand what might be going on at Thermprocess. Thanks very much for joining us.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed listening to today's episode with Timo Würz. Heat Treat Radio is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Podbean, and the website www.heattreattoday.com/radio. If you'd like to get in contact with Timo, head over to www.vdma.org or email him at timo.werz@vdma.org. You can also reach out to me, and I can put you in touch. My email is bethany@heattreattoday.com. Do you have a new or interesting idea that you want to hear discussed on Heat Treat Radio? If so, let me know. Also, if you'd like to be a sponsor of a future episode, you can let me know at bethany@heattreattoday.com. Heat Treat Radio would like to thank Thermprocess 2023 for sponsoring this episode. Learn more about the show at www.thermprocess-online.com or just re-listen to this episode. This and every other episode of Heat Treat Radio is the sole property of Heat Treat Today and may not be reproduced in part or in whole without advance written permission from Heat Treat Today. And I'm Bethany Leone. Thank you for listening.